Because you hear talks about boots on the ground, what you're really hearing is we're getting closer to putting American lives directly into a war that is not going to be quick, not going to be clean, and not going to be able to be contained.
Yeah, yeah.
At first, it was airstrikes, right? Then it was pressure. Then it was deadlines. Then it was we don't need ground troops. And now it's maybe we need to go in and secure things ourselves. They didn't anticipate the Strait of Hormuz being closed. This is not random. This is a slow walk towards us doing something bigger. We in it to win it.
Go on the topic. Even more evidence has emerged to suggest the US really is preparing for some sort of ground operation in Iran. The buildup of forces in the region has continued apace. A number of House representatives who attended Wednesday's classified briefing came out of it signaling a ground invasion was coming. And Axios reported on Thursday that Trump's team were considering some sort of ground operation in the hopes of delivering, quote, a final blow to the regime. A few hours later, Israel announced that they'd assassinated the leader of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' naval unit, which is exactly what you do if you were planning to seize one of the islands off the Iranian coast around the Strait of Hormuz. This was then followed by a not-so-subtle statement by US Central Command, calling on all IRGC naval troops to immediately abandon their positions, and a telling comment from Trump, where, during a televised cabinet meeting, he said that seizing Iran's oil, which would probably require US forces to seize and occupy at least one of the islands, was, quote, an option.
Because countries don't just wake up one day and decide to send troops. They build those troops up. They move pieces into place. They shift that language. They get people used to the idea. So now they're talking probably about Kang Island. And that's exactly what this feels like. They have already decided that there are going to be boots on the ground. They just haven't said it to the American people. You got Marines already moving into the region. You got airborne units getting positioned. You got ships, flights, equipment, all of it lining up. And you've got mixed messages coming out. One minute it sounds like we're close to a deal. The next minute it sounds like we're preparing for something much, much more serious. That back and forth, that's conditioning us to accept whatever comes out and whatever they say. It gets people used to uncertainty. It keeps people off balance. And slowly, the idea of troops going in sounds shocking, but it sounds expected by us. Because once boots hit the ground, we already know everything changes. Now it's not about pressure anymore. It's not about leverage. It's not about showing strength. It's about survival. It's about holding positions in a place that does not want you there. And everything we're hearing about Iran says the same thing. This is not going to be a quick fight. Iran ain't trying to play with y'all. Iran said, if y'all put boots on the ground, we going all out. We going for broke. This is not some open desert where things move fast and clean. This is a terrain that works against American troops. This is their territory. This is their land. This is an opponent that has been preparing for this kind of moment for years against the United States. They're not going to line up and fight the way people imagine. They're going to come out the gate dirty as hell. You're going to stretch it out. You're going to make it slow. You're going to make it painful. They're going to make it dangerous for y'all. And that's what people need to understand. We're going to lose some American troops. It is what it is. This does not look like one big battle. It's over. This looks like weeks turning into months. This looks like small attacks that don't stop. This looks like soldiers constantly on edge. This looks like casualties adding up in a way that nobody wants to talk about right now. And once that starts, you don't just get to pull out and go home, because now we're committed. Now you're taking ground, or you try to take control of something and you have to defend it. And that's where war gets stuck. That's how something that was supposed to be limited military action becomes something more, becomes something like a war. And here's the part people are starting to feel goofy about. It feels like we got pulled into this bullshit, not all at once, not in the way that makes you panic. But step by step, first the threat, then the build up. There was a threat. We've been done had this threat for years, years, years. Why now? Why now? Okay. Then we had the build up. Then we had the language. Then the normalization. And before you know it, it's not should we go in? It's we already there. We've been there 47 years. We've been there 50 years. That's what I done heard people say. We already been there. It's already been a war. That's the manipulation. People are watching this happen in real time. The manipulation happen in real time. And it don't feel like it's straightforward. It feels like something is being managed, handled. Like the story changes just enough to keep things moving forward without ever fully saying we're at war or we finna go for broke up in there. And that makes it make me uneasy because this ain't a small thing. This is the kind of decision that changes families, changes communities, changes what you do from day to day, specifically if you're a part of the Army, the military, the Air Force, the Marine. If you're a part of that community, wife, husband, kids, whatever, that changes your whole dynamic. And before people know it, they in it. They got boots on the ground. Boots on the ground was not supposed to be a part of this. Some people knew it was going to be boots on the ground. It was just too complicated. Iran ain't playing with y'all. Iran ain't playing with y'all. There are people who trust what he's doing. And then there's people who say, oh no, this is wild. We can't even do it. A lot of people see strength. They see strategy, but the group that I belong to sees something else. We see inconsistency. We see shifting patterns, shifting narratives, lies, stuff that don't sound like it comes out straight. We see peace one day according to Trump, and then we see escalation the next day from Iran. This feels unpredictable. And when you're talking about war, unpredictability is the last thing we want to hear because the stakes are too high. We lose too many people because of this. This is not a policy we can undo in 1 week. This is not something we can back away from. You can't just withdraw from Iran. We can't just say, well, we done with it. We finna come back. Once this is forward, it moves forward. It stays forward. And the consequences don't stay contained. They're going to come home in body bags. That's the real truth of it. They're going to come home in body bag. And here's the bigger picture. This is just not about troops going in. It's about what kind of country we have become if we do. We just got out of Afghanistan. We just got out of war, the 9/11 war. We just got out of Iraq and Afghanistan. We just got out of there. War changes a lot of people's priorities. It changes how money gets spent. It changes what we can prioritize here at home. Y'all can skip healthcare. You can skip any kind of domestic agenda because we don't have the money. People are divided. We were supposed to be spending money here at home, not overseas, not in a war. Okay? And you add dollars to that, 200 billion. They just asked for 200 billion, y'all. They just asked for 200 billion. What domestic agenda? There is no domestic agenda. So when we hear boots on the ground, we don't just hear another update. We hear for what it is, a point of no return. And the reason this moment feels so heavy is because it doesn't feel that far off anymore. It feels like it's right here, right around the corner. It feels like we're right up on it. Once that line got crossed, it was over. Once boots get on the ground, it's over. That's why people are watching this so closely. That's why we're sick. I'm sick to my stomach. Sick that nothing is going to change. Everything is going to get worse. Everything is going to get worse. And that's how it feels. It feels like we're running down a rabbit hole, slipping down a rabbit hole, and we can't stop it. And there's nothing we can do about this. And Donald Trump is at the helm of us going down that rabbit hole.